Hey everybody, it's Wes with Fundamental Games, here to bring you another Fun in 5. And today's game is Tyrants of the Underdark. I'm a longtime fan of Dungeons & Dragons. I don't get to play it much, or ever actually really, but I've got deep-rooted excitement when it comes to fantasy games, as you may have known from my history. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun playing Tyrants of the Underdark with my family, with my wife, my son, my daughter. We all kind of play it together and have different strategies each time we play the game. But there's different reasons for that, and so I'm going to cover 5 of those. The first reason that I enjoy Tyrants of the Underdark is that it's a deck building game. I've played Clank, I've played Dominion, I've played other kinds of deck builders. This one just has something unique about it that's a little bit different than some of those other games. And so the deck building is fun in that you get to draft cards from a market. If you've played Ascension, you might know that market mechanic, or Clank has the same thing. So it's a kind of a limited deck builder in the fact that you have to pull from a specific array of cards. But there are abilities that let you get rid of cards in the row to see other cards, or you can kind of work around based on how your other players are interacting to decide how you might want to deck build yourself. So I have a lot of fun deck building. We've got every set of Dominion. You might even be able to see some of it there. But this offers something different that Dominion doesn't have, and you have 2 different purchase mechanics. One is based on basically buying things with influence and power. The other one is about combat and attacking. So that is the first part, that the fun part that we have is the deck building. There's another part tied into that, but I'm going to call that part 2 of having fun, is that the deck building consists of 40 card decks that are paired up with one another. So it comes with 4 decks in the base game. There's the Drow, the Dragons, the Demons, and the Elementals. And so all these decks combine, you only use 2 decks each game, so you have a lot of variance when you're playing with these different types of decks. And then there is an expansion that we bought that has 2 more decks that you can kind of introduce into the mix. So I like the fact that you can experiment with 2 decks to start with, play it till you get used to it, but then throw in a different deck or play with the other 2 decks completely. That is a lot of fun because it makes the game very, very replayable and adds some different synergies that you wouldn't have if you just played with all the cards mashed up together. Third thing I like is, again, it's tethered into deck building. In deck building, you often have a trashing mechanic or an exile mechanic, something where you remove cards from your base deck. So your base deck always starts with those traditional 10 cards, which are usually just helping you kind of build your engine. What I like about this is that later on in the game, you can get cards that allow you to promote things. So instead of just exiling it and having it reduce the negative or the lower power cards of your deck, promoting actually takes a card that was semi-useless and makes it worth endgame points that you might not have had otherwise. And so I could, one of the strategies in the game is to build your promote pile so that might even get more points than having control over the board itself. So I like that promote mechanic. It's fun to experiment with it in different ways, whether you just tinker with it and put a few cards in there in the game or put your entire strategy based on that can be quite fun as well. And I've seen both ways, win and lose, but it's a really cool way to adapt to deck building. The fourth one is about combat. So this is a deck building game with a board, much like Clank and other games, but this is an area control board. So I like how you can gain control over different areas, but you can lose that control as well. And so you're going to be building up your army, and you earn that through points that you earn from your cards focused on strength or attacking versus power or influence. And so that area control goes over different parts of the game, and you can temporarily gain points that other people can take away from you. And the combat system behind it is very, very basic, which I like. I don't have to roll dice or have a huge complex system to understand combat. I just have to have a certain amount of strength or power, and I'll knock out a certain amount of chips on the board and be able to take over. So we had fun with that there's combat involved, but it's not over the top. We could all understand it. We could all kind of see what was happening on the board without having to do complex arrays and distance charts and stuff like that you might in some area control games. And then the fifth thing that I like, and this one is kind of a weird mechanic that, and it's really tethers into the theme of the game, of the drow and the spying, and that is the spies themselves. So in most area control games, once you control something, you can really see if somebody's going to mess around with you. But in this game, they have something called spies. And so at any point in the game, I might have a card that I bought that allows me to place a spy, and I don't have to have influence anywhere around. I can just throw that spy over there and really mess with my opponents. And that can be a lot of fun when you are just really trying to get the edge and you need to distract them, you can throw a spy there. Or you might want to put on a full-on assault, so you put a spy there, and then later on you can filter some guys in there because the spy found a secret tunnel and he lets your army in. So the spies add a really fun element to what's already a really cool game with the deck building and the different decks and the area control and the promotion mechanics. So I really love this game. Sometimes you think Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast might throw on a theme onto a game and just try to upsell it. This game can stand alone. It didn't need to have a Dungeons and Dragons theme. The fact that it does just made it more entertaining for me. We have a lot of fun with this game. Those are just 5 of the things that I think are the most fun about this game. Hopefully you get a chance to play it one day and have some fun with it yourself. Take care.